All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Adam Cole. I'm one of the plans chiefs with the Alaska team. This is the planning meeting for tomorrow. It's Friday, the 20th of August. 24-hour plan covering day and night shift into Saturday, August 21st morning for the Monument Fire. Fire size this afternoon, 136,379 acres. Containment remains at 10%. 1,572 personnel. That's total Zone 1, Zone 2. With the CAL FIRE Team 5 numbers, $24.3 million on the cost. We'll start off with a review of the current situation and progress with Karen Scholl.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Let's see, we'll start over in Division Alpha. Alpha had a good day, continued to mop up. We're getting in about 50 feet of depth here, and things are looking really secure along the power line. Looking at possibly adding some black to the map tomorrow. So that's all looking good. Up around Chaparral Mountain and Underwood Road area, we added a little bit of depth to the burn around here, around the corner. Just trying to get a little bit more solid line in there as the rest of this wants to close up. Structures are all still secured, and they're waiting as being real patient with the fire coming down, and just waiting until the opportunity is right to turn the sprinklers on and kind of ensure the safety of those structures. So everything's looking good in that area. Patrol further up around the Horn in the River Contingency Group. They're pulling a lot of hose out of Big Bar and Del Loma and anywhere that's not needed. We did get a call on a flare-up, and it was roll out into a ravine, caught the brush on fire, so that's going to continue to happen in that corridor. There was no concern, but it was kind of some locals talking to locals who are still in there. So going to have that quite a bit. Let's see, so everything's looking real good in this area. The River Group also got up in Hawkins Bar, and they're making plans for structure protection and identifying what they need in order to put that out if it comes to that. So everything looks good. Let's see, up in Echo, had some little bit of action. They had good clear air over there today. The fire did, as expected, continue to move down the hill. Primary mode of movement is roll out and then small runs uphill. And so that's continuing. And with that kind of advancement, it did hit one of our MAPs. And so that caused a recommendation for the sheriffs to put Hawkins Bar, Trinity, and Denny into an evacuation warning. So that was happening, and while that was all going on, they had clear air, so we were able to run buckets in that area, keep it cool, and just try and keep it slow pace coming down towards the river. We did have walking some dozers in on the Buck Creek Road. They're making access, opening that road up, and should be kind of poised by tomorrow to open up the dozer line down to, what is it, what's the bar down there? It's a new one, Bell Bar, down on the bottom. So pushing that way, and we had crews in the little slop. This is hanging up on the road, so we had a crew in on the slop, 6-acre and a 1-acre slop, and everything's just holding real nice there. Across the top, everything's looking good. Lots of heat on the head on the northeast side. The spot fire that's across the North Fork is about 15 acres. We had some folks actually make access into that. It's heavies burning on the bottom of a slope, so it's not moving, and checked in a little bit of line, and we'll continue to monitor that, and if we can get helicopters in one of these days, we'll put some water on it. Continue to prep the East Fork Road, and that entails mostly mastication and brushing of the road, snagging and brushing. Sorry, not mastication, brushing and snagging, and they're continuing to move north, probably 3-4 miles up by the end of today. And then moving around into Zulu land, so they had a little bit of slop over from the triangle. what is that, Knowles Gulch. So they're working on that, and that's just basically continues to reinforce that we need to get this tied in by end of shift. The line is going to be into the junction here, and then the plan for tomorrow is to open the dozer line south to the cutoff road, and then try and continue to move in that direction. So today, activity, and basically not a lot of check lines in here, so building that box in anticipation of having to deal with this. So overall, good day today, and that's today's activities.
All right, thank you, Karen. Incident objectives have not changed. You can review those in the IAP and also on the wall behind me. Next, we'll go to weather.
Ryan Walburn, can you hear me? All right. Let's can you see me over here? You're moving the camera. All right. So we got the river complex fires in the McCash. So this is what's been going on today. That's where all of our smoke is coming from. The McCash smoke is off there. So for tomorrow, we always look for changes. What's going to change? And tomorrow the winds are going to switch to more of a west-northwest direction. So hopefully you can see that there. It'll come from that direction. It should be favorable on the west side of the fire. The heat that I'm able to see on the GOES 17 satellite does show a lot of heat in there. So I expect tomorrow afternoon when we're in this meeting that there'll be a lot of clear skies, a lot more the heat that's there will want to stand up with those west winds. Nothing strong. If you look at the matrix, nothing here really stands out, but it's a change nonetheless. So we've had 2 days of smoke, north winds, not a lot of movement. So tomorrow, that west side of the fire, we expect, the quote-unquote cap to lift a little bit. So look, we'll be ready for that. We won't be surprised when that happens. You can see the humidity is 16% or so. Yesterday, we talked about Saturday. Saturday is still a time when a little front comes through. Not a big deal. Temperatures dip a little bit. Winds come up a little bit. Again, you'll notice the prevailing direction is northwest. So what that means is for the next several days is we will not be eating the smoke from these fires to our north. So we'll just kind of be producing our own. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So it's really about a smoke forecast right now, and that's where things stand. Thanks.
You're not going to wipe it off? I'll survive probably. I'm a little concerned with that forecast. The last few days, the matrix has been showing this as green. Although this isn't the entire fire itself, that is kind of concerning, especially in this northwest corner of the fire. And if you look at the day prior to my arrival, when we were looking at transitioning, that's when this made a major event, was with northwesterly flow, and it wasn't heavy winds by any means. So I do have some concern, especially on this west side, Division Echo, Alpha down here, as far as, this still isn't secure, and we do have some interior areas of unburnt, so, that could be problematic in there. Fire's also been backing down into the New River, and could see the potential. We'll throw out the slope reversal term in there as far as coming down and then engaging on the west side of the New River. So that is a concern, especially if we do get clear air over there. The one positive thing, though, our Air Force is up over here, and that would allow them to take action where they haven't been able to take as much action because of smoke. If we do get clearing up into the, Division Gulf, Mike, this area where the fire is going into the Trinity Wilderness, another area of concern. We have had history of spotting in this area, and if we do get clear air in there, again, with that northwesterly flow, some concern as far as not being able to hold it on the east fork of the north fork of the Trinity River. So those are kind of the hot spots for our fire. I think the lower part here probably still will be covered with smoke, either from ourselves, whereas that northwesterly flow does not have any smoke coming from those other fires shading us out. So those are the areas of concern from a fire behavior standpoint tomorrow. Karen gets it cleaned off.
All right, I forgot to mention earlier that we do have a USA machine, and it was able to fly on 2 parts of the fire today, One over in Alpha looking for spots, and everything's looking good there. And the other was checking out the spots over here and validifying what we were seeing on the ground. So that's a good use of the drone. That's running a swing shift basically, and so afternoon intel and evening intel has been helpful. So for tomorrow, given the forecast, we'll have a lot of attention over in the Underwood area, ensuring that everything stays pat, and if we need to turn the sprinklers on, we will, and then be poised to take any action as necessary. Holding on to what we have in the river contingency, and then of course the attention up here. Not a lot of resources involved in here, but certainly if we do get that clean air, ability to get in and see what's going on, as well as apply water as needed to keep that cool. Nice thing with the northwest winds is if we do get a little bit of column developing, that'll push into the fire and into the burned area already, and hopefully reduce a little bit of that spotting potential outside the fire area. Continuing with our prep along East Fork of the North Fork Road and points north, and so continuing to monitor that, and of course being ready to pull out if needed. If we do get clear air in here, and we have an opportunity to paint the ridge, that is an option for us, which is good, advantageous. So if those things line up, we could paint this ridge and help keep the fire from, or reducing that spotting potential there. So that's an option, and we'll be looking at that. Continuing to monitor the 29 and 299, sorry, and helping with CAL FIRE as needed, if needed. And then bumping around in Zulu is continuing with this dozer line south, and then if we get some dozers back, start pushing them to join in on the Hyampam Road coming to the northeast. So trying to get this box built in order to kind of catch what's coming out of here. It's pretty much inevitable that it will come out of here at some point, since we already have fire over the line that we put in yesterday. So looking just to hold it in this box here and tie it into what CAL FIRE is bringing to us. Hyampam is also on our radar, and we're doing some evaluations and developing a plan in case we get fire push in this direction in the future. So that's the plan for tomorrow.
Good afternoon, everybody. Tom Greeling, safety trainee. We currently have 8 safety officers out in the field, and 3 of those are here at ICP as team safety officers, and that includes 5 line safety officers with 1 field safety officer coordinator, and then that's also a night shift safety officer. We currently have no critical needs for safety. We did add an item, a category to the hazard risk assessment worksheet that's highlighted in yellow horizontally there, and that is for working around grow operations, and the concern there is a chemical that's highly toxic. It's called carbofuran, and that is suspected application out in Branch 1, Division Alpha, and possibly other locations. So we've included some mitigations, and the biggest thing here with the mitigations is making sure that we identify the potential use or application of it, and then reporting that up the chain, and then getting further instructions from operations and safety for that, and making sure that it's flagged, the area is flagged off. And then let's see here, we're also going to include additional information into the IAP with this concern. Any questions for safety? Thank you.
All right, now we'll move into the plan validation and support portion of this afternoon's meeting. I'll be looking at Chuck Russell here with the following statement. Is the plan consistent with the intent of the delegation of authority and the current WFDS decision? All right, thank you, Chuck. And for Alaska C&G for support of the plan, beginning with air operations. Thank you. And communications, safety, medical, logistics, finance, information, and liaison. Thank you. And plan approval, I see Chuck Russell. All right, we'll put the plan in writing for tomorrow, August 20th through Saturday, the 21st in the morning for a 24-hour shift period. Functional comments. If anyone has any functional comments, please remember to come to the front of the room with those, and we'll begin with operations. Anything to add today, Karen?
Nothing to add.
Any questions for operations? All right, air operations, Mike. Thank you. And communications, Greg? Safety, Tom. Medical, Meredith's on her way.
Just an update on where we stand medically. We have a critical need still for line EMTs and medics, and a critical need for ambulances. Today is the last workday for our 24-hour ambulance, which leaves us tomorrow with one daytime ambulance. In preparation for that, we have made EMT contacts for coverage in camps at night in case there's a medical emergency in camp, so that we can cover that. Was in communication with Trinity County Ambulance today, and has left a message for Weaverville with regards to 911 coverage. They will cover us in the interim until we can find some ambulances. Our medics that are out on the line, we are still running with UTVs and pickups, and then today we charged all of the resources in each of the divisions to begin to pre-plan the transports that they would have if they had a medical emergency in their area. Any questions or comments? Thank you for your time.
All right, and from logistics, Tim, anything to add? All right, and finance, Luann? Information? And liaison? One question for you, Sarah. There was talk of the cooperators meeting moving times tomorrow. Is that staying the same at 10 o'clock? Okay, great. Just wanted to confirm that. Thank you very much. Resource Advisor Coordinator. Thank you, Erica. And any remarks from anybody on the line from the agency regards to the plan or anything functional? Or anyone in the room? Okay.
I did have a question. Did those evacuation recommendations go up? Did they be recommended? Did they get?
Yeah, Karen spoke to it in the very beginning, and yes, they are going to move to morning.
Okay, the question was in regard to the evacuation changes on the northwest corner up in the Hawkins Bar area that operations covered there. And one correction from the beginning of the meeting, I believe I referred to the zones as 1 and 2. I really meant north and south. Apologies for that. Closing comments. Incident Commander Norm McDonald.
All right, the message is about communication, and I didn't communicate with Adam about who was going to do closing today. So just a couple things. One real good day today. This is day 2 where we've owned the fire, and I feel like we're usually look for that 72 hours. We're on step, and we're right there. I see a lot of more rested faces today, and that's a good thing. That just tells me we're getting to where we need to be. Just a couple things for tomorrow we're going to focus on and make some stress points on, and it does revolve around communication. I feel like we've talked about this the last couple of days, but on this fire in particular, that's probably the most important thing we're going to do. A couple places where that's going to be a focus for tomorrow is up in Division Mike. We talked about this Hobo Gulch line we're putting in. That's through the wilderness. To get approval for that, that's quite a process we go through, and we're making some commitments to the forest that we're going to do that right. We're going to follow their direction. We're going to do what we need to do to hold the fire, but it's an important piece for this forest that we make sure we're following the guidelines we're given. So that means from us, from the IC to ops to the folks running the dozer, they need to know what those specs are, what that's going to look like. If we need to use that line or if we don't need to use that line, it's going to be repaired, and what it's going to take to do that. So we have our read coordinators working on that. Our ops is working on that. IC has spent time on that all day. We're hoping to get approval for that sometime this evening or tomorrow morning. But again, that's just one of those places where really good communication is going to have to take place from agency administrator down to the folks on the ground swinging the tools. So that's an important piece. Second one is for tomorrow, and this went really well today. We had some activity up in Division Echo, a bit of a backing fire, hit one of our management action points, and that was that notification to the sheriff to recommend a warning. So we did that. That went very smooth today. But also with that, our projection runs are showing that's where we're going to have activity for the next 7 days. So out to the public information. That piece of it's going to be important up there. There's going to be potentially clear air, which means more smoke, more visible column, really being important for us to be out in those communities in that zone, outreaching, answering questions. There's going to be concern, so we'll be out there tomorrow and the next couple of days making sure we're doing that part of our job as well. Really good work today. Appreciate it, and we'll call that end of report. Thanks.
All right, that concludes this evening's planning meeting. And if you turned your cell phones off or your radios off before the meeting, thank you for doing that, but don't forget to turn them back on before you leave. IAP inputs due here soon at 1800. CNG once again at 2000 next door at the Red Lion. Night briefing at 1900 in this room. Have a good night.